Hello everyone. I am going to introduce to you maybe some tools in Learnsmart Labs that you may not have known about. So what I've done here is created a fake Learnsmart Lab assignment on lab safety. When you go in, let me just exit out of here so that I can show you exactly what's going to happen. Okay, we didn't really do anything, but I'm going to go through a different route just because, like I said, this is a fake assignment here. So you will just click in Blackboard on your actual Learnsmart lab. So I'm going to click in here. What it's going to do is in the beginning, it'll give you some directions on how to use Learnsmart step by step. That's what it's doing here. So I'm going to pause real quick and go through. Oh, okay, it brought me back here. So when you get to this page, what it's going to do is show you what has been assigned to you from this lab. So we have some core concepts up here that should take me about 10 minutes. This section is really just some pre-lab questions, and the system is trying to figure out what you do know and what you don't. If you do know a lot of the content, then you might move through this a little bit faster and be able to continue into your hand washing procedure. But if you answer the questions wrong, they might give you some more visual resources in order to learn some material before you move into your actual procedure or simulator portion of the lab. So I'm going to go through, click on core concepts, and you're just going to click through. It's going to ask you some questions. Let's see. Okay, so we got a question here. Laboratory safety protocols are established to protect, and we want to check all that applies. The lab workers that are directly involved with that exercise, we'll click that one. Visitors to the lab that do not understand the science equipment, let's click that. Immunocompromised individuals that enter biohazardous labs, the lab equipment and materials used in the exercise. Okay, so and then you have your metacognitive buttons here, just like you do in your Learnsmart assignments. I'm going to go with I think so here. Again, we're acting as a student, so looks like I got this one wrong. This should have been included. So now what it'll do is it'll give me some suggested resources here, and I can click on these to learn a little bit more. So normally I would go through there, or you could click on that and just read if you don't want to listen to your little helper here speak. So we're going to click OK. You could go to the library and it'll give you some resources to read through here, and they're all listed here. So we're going to click back to learn. So anyway, it's going to give you question after question. So what I'm going to do so that this screencast doesn't take 25 minutes, I'm going to go through and answer some of these questions and get through the core concept portion, acting as a student. So there's going to be some questions I'm going to get wrong and some questions I'm going to get right. So now that I went through all of those questions in the core concepts, it's going to put a check mark next to this top portion that says core concepts, and then it's going to show me exactly what percentage I got in that section. So I got 95% because I made maybe a mistake or two in the question portion. So my overall mastery here is going to be 21%. Now we're going to move into our simulator of our hand washing lab. So once again, you're going to go through, it's going to tell you some things about hand washing, it's going to ask you some questions. So I'm going to pause the screencast right now and do that, and then we'll talk some more about the simulator. So now it's preparing the simulator after I've answered some of the questions. And whenever you're not sure what you're supposed to be doing, you can always click down here at the instructions button, and it'll tell you what your task is and what you should continue to do. I'm just going to click here so it doesn't keep flashing. We also have some pins here telling us what to do, and we need to figure out what order we need to do this. So first thing we need to do is remove the watch. All right, we want to turn on the faucet. Okay, we're going to wet our hands. So, and you want to put your cursor over some of these structures here. Some of the actual items like the hands and the faucet. Okay, now I want to go over to the soap. Okay, I'm going to fast forward a little bit here. Oh, okay, quite a bit there. And we're going to rinse all that soap off. I'm going to grab a paper towel. And we want to wipe our hands and then use it to turn the faucet off. Perfect. So then I'm going to click continue. Oh no. Okay, so now it's going to go ahead and ask me some questions. I'm going to go ahead and go through these, and then what you would do is go through the simulator again. Okay, so now I am in the simulator again, and I want you to notice we still have this piece of paper towel in our hand, and the simulator doesn't know that you want it to throw away unless you click on the trash can and put it in there. So now it's asking me which trash can to put it in. Okay, all right. So now we can go ahead and start washing our hands again. And we can use, oh, I thought I did. So sometimes it does take quite a bit of clicking to make sure that it does it correctly. Okay, and so I don't know if it wants me to, oh, I don't know if it wanted me to click on all of the fingernails here. Let's see how this goes. So, and every time I don't click the exact timing that I need to, whoop. So for instance, I only did it for a second there. So it's technically, this is the time that we're cleaning our nails with the brush. Okay, we're going to click and stop there, and then we are going to rinse off the soap. Okay, perfect. And let's grab our, oh, it's saying I need some help. Let's take our towel, and I'm going to click that help button again so I know exactly where to click. Okay, and let's turn off the faucet. And then put that paper in the trash. We're going to hit yes. And then it's going to take me to this area over here. So it says I did 100% here. That's wonderful. But my overall mastery is going to be 98% because I did have 5% taken off in that beginning core concepts portion. So I'm going to just click more here. So it'll tell me more about my score. Okay, and it'll take me back to this page as well, which will show me I got that 95% here and 100% here. Now, my lab is complete, and I'm going to tell you some more about this button over here. Okay, this little side view. If you, let's see, if you go into Overview, you're going to get back to this page. You get to check your percentages and make sure you've done pretty well. One thing I want to mention is that these labs are created so that it's difficult to get 100% mastery, and that's because it's difficult to be absolutely perfect in an actual lab. So the simulator is supposed to simulate real life. And so what I'm going to do is set up a kind of mastery percentage. So if I feel like you have, if you get 80% mastery of this lab, then I will give you 100% on your lab. So you will see that take place on Blackboard in your grade book. So I've already made some changes to the previous labs already. So the other thing I'm going to show you is if you click back here, click on my reports, you can go through your lab performance. And once again, it'll tell you your mastery over here. And if you click on there, you can go back to your score and your actual questions that you went through. And these questions are going to be different for every single person, just as it is for your Learnsmart assignments. And what I like about these Learnsmart Labs is it holds you as an individual accountable instead of working in a lab and relying on your partners to do some of the work and answering your lab questions together, because it is adaptive and it'll adapt to you. The other thing we can go to is topic scores. So you'll see that listed over here for you as well, and you'll also see the amount of time that you spent there. And if you click over to missed question, well, it's not showing any of my incorrectly answered questions, but it does deduct some points if you get too many questions wrong, or if you use a resource to answer a question, it might take some points off there. But like I said, the reason I'm setting up a certain percentage mastery on Blackboard is so it's a little bit more realistic and you could get all the points that you want. With this said, if you do get, let's say, a 98% mastery on this lab, and I've set up for 80% mastery on Blackboard, that means that you're going to be getting some extra credit too for being an overachiever and making sure you get a higher mastery. The other thing I want to mention that maybe you might not have noticed is your grade for this lab will not post to Blackboard until the actual due date. So don't worry if you look and it says that this lab is still in progress and you haven't completed it. It's going to submit it on the actual due date. And I believe that's the last thing I wanted to show you. You can also go in here and look into your most challenging learning objectives and self-assessment, and that was using those metacognitive buttons at the bottom. Remember that you want to look at this number here, and that's going to kind of tell you how well prepared you you are from this lab, how well you answered the questions. So I don't give you any lab quizzes as far as these Learnsmart Labs, but maybe in microbiology, this is going to give you a great view as to if you are prepared to go into your lab. Let's say you have a Learnsmart Lab on how to do gram staining before you actually do it in the lab. So you want to look at this number and hopefully it's high so that you are well prepared to go in and you know what you're going to be doing in the actual lab setting. So those are all the things I wanted to mention to you all. If you have any more questions about Learnsmart Labs, please let me know. Like I said, it's not kind of a step-by-step lab that you're going to go through and just answer these questions and get 100%. It's made to be realistic, and so it has this adaptive nature to it in which it's going to be a different situation for each student. You might even get different simulators depending on what type of lab it is, and it's going to take, it has a random correct guessing I don't know what to call it. It has it within the system that it can detect whether you are randomly guessing the correct answer, and it takes points off for that too. So these labs are really created to make sure that you are truly learning and are able to go through these labs if you were to do them in reality. So once again, if you have any questions, please contact me via my phone, text, call, or email. That's all listed on your syllabus. and I will see you in class. Bye-bye.